Cutting through the heart of East Africa, between Kenya's renowned Masai Mara and the vast plains of Tanzania's Serengeti, flows a river both revered and feared, the Mara. At first sight, its waters appear tranquil, quietly reflecting the sky above and the open savanna beyond. Yet this calm surface disguises a far harsher truth. Each year, driven by the ancient rhythm of migration, thousands of animals are compelled to enter these waters in search of fresh grazing lands. It is one of the most dangerous moments of their journey. Beneath the moving current, unseen hunters remain perfectly still, waiting with remarkable patience for opportunity to present itself. In the Mara, there is no margin for error. A single wrong step can seal an animal's fate. Every crossing unfolds as a dramatic contest between instinct and danger, where strength, timing, and resilience determine survival. Here, risk is constant and unavoidable. Hidden below the surface, danger remains silent and ever-present, reminding all who approach that in the natural world. Survival is never guaranteed, only earned. As dawn breaks over the African plains, the rising sun casts a warm golden light across grass still heavy with morning dew. Life stirs in every direction. Across this vast landscape, countless animals press forward, guided by instincts shaped over millennia, compelled to seek new feeding grounds after the seasonal rains. Yet beneath this serene beauty lies a constant struggle, where survival depends on every step taken. Across the open savanna, clouds of rust-colored dust swirl beneath the pounding hooves of immense zebra herds. Each year, these animals undertake an arduous journey of more than 800 kilometers, moving between Tanzania and Kenya toward the northern reaches of their range. Their path leads inevitably to the Mara River, a deep channel cutting through the grasslands, a natural barrier fraught with danger. Zebras reaching lengths of over 2 meters and weighing as much as 300 kilograms are instantly recognizable by their bold black and white stripes. These patterns serve critical functions, helping regulate body heat under the intense sun, disrupting visual focus to confuse predators and reducing irritation from biting insects. No two individuals share the same stripe pattern, allowing foals to recognize their mothers within the dense, moving herd. As grazing animals, zebras are not equipped with claws or sharp teeth. Instead, they rely on speed, alertness, and the explosive power of their hind legs, capable of delivering kicks strong enough to deter even large predators. They live in structured social groups, typically led by a single stallion alongside several mares and their young. Within these tight formations, safety is found in numbers, offering protection against threats such as lions, hyenas, wild dogs, and crocodiles. After a gestation period of just over a year, a mare gives birth to a single foal. Remarkably, within minutes of birth, the newborn is able to stand and follow its mother, an essential ability in a world where danger is never far away. Despite this rapid development, fewer than half of all foals survive their first year, underscoring the relentless pressures of life on the plains. And so the herd advances, a moving tide of black and white crossing the sun-baked grasslands as it pushes steadily northward. Yet their greatest challenge still awaits. Ahead lies the Mara River, a place where the water conceals unseen threats, silent and unforgiving. At the river's edge, the surface appears deceptively calm, but beneath it glide enormous shapes barely visible in the murky depths. A crocodile, perfectly adapted for ambush, remains completely still only meters from the approaching zebras. With eyes just above the waterline, these ancient hunters wait patiently, conserving energy as they watch for a single mistake, one moment when vigilance falters. Suddenly, the zebras charge into the river. The stillness shatters as water explodes upward, and from below, a massive crocodile surges forward with terrifying force. Panic spreads through the herd as they race for the far bank, hooves churning the water into a froth of mud and foam. The encounter is brief, lasting only moments in the long existence of these ancient hunters. Beneath the fading ripples, the shadow disappears once more into the flow unseen, composed, and ready to strike again. At river crossings throughout the migration route, escape is far from guaranteed. Few animals manage to break free once seized by a crocodile's powerful jaws. These dominant predators of the Mara have changed little over more than 200 million years, remaining perfectly adapted to their deadly role in instilling fear in every herd that approaches the water. A fully grown crocodile can stretch beyond 5 meters in length and weigh well over 700 kilograms. Its body is protected by dense, armored scales, while keen eyes pierce the murky water with ease. When its jaws snap shut, they deliver an extraordinary bite force among the strongest recorded in the animal kingdom, capable of crushing bone and holding prey with unstoppable strength. Stealth is the crocodile's greatest advantage. It can drift motionless for hours, blending seamlessly into the river like a fallen log. But when the moment arrives, immense muscles unleash explosive speed. In a fraction of a second, rows of hardened teeth secure the victim and drag it beneath the surface. A powerful rolling motion follows, designed to overwhelm and immobilize prey in the swirling water. Thanks to an exceptionally slow metabolism, crocodiles can survive for months without feeding. Their sensory systems are finely tuned to detect vibrations and sound, even when almost entirely submerged. During the Great Migration, these adaptations turn the Mara River into a prime hunting ground. In the breeding season, females construct nests along sandy riverbanks, laying between 24 and 80 eggs. For weeks, they stand guard. When the young finally hatch, the mother carefully lifts each hatchling in her jaws and carries it to the water's edge. Despite this care, few survive their early months, falling victim to predators including birds of prey, large lizards, and even other crocodiles. Those that reach adulthood, however, face little opposition. Apart from confrontations with aggressive hippos, Nile crocodiles exist near the top of the food chain. For millions of years, they have remained unchanged, silent sentinels of the river, motionless and watchful, waiting patiently at the heart of the Mara. The zebra herd that crossed the river the previous day now grazes quietly, heads lowered as they feed on fresh, tender grass. It appears to be a moment of calm, a brief pause after surviving a journey that balanced on the edge between life and death. But on the savannah, peace is rarely more than temporary, hidden within the tall grass. Golden figures have been watching since dawn. A lion, the embodiment of patience and precision, follows every movement of the herd without revealing its presence. Once again, tension settles over the plains. The distance between hunter and prey closes to just a few dozen meters. Then, without warning, the lionesses surge forward in perfect coordination. The chase is short. One zebra falls, its long migration ending in a heartbeat. For the pride, this loss becomes survival. They gather swiftly around the fallen animal. The adults feed first, while the cubs linger nearby, witnessing their earliest lesson in the unforgiving rules of nature. From the shadows, the haunting calls of hyenas echo across the grasslands. Their eyes shine in the dimming light as they circle at a cautious distance, waiting for opportunity. By nightfall, little will remain of the zebra beyond a pale skeleton, a silent testament to the savannah's relentless reality. Before long, the great migration will continue once more, carrying with it new challenges and unseen dangers. This is the rhythm of the wild, where life and death are inseparable. The zebra, marked by its timeless stripes, stands as a symbol of endurance, a traveler shaped by constant movement across an untamed world. As the sun sinks toward the horizon, the heat of the day loosens its grip on the land. Along the banks of the Mara River, the pride retreats to rest after the hunt. In the golden glow of evening, their social bonds come into clear view. The cubs, still faintly patterned with juvenile markings, tumble and chase one another, their playful behavior serving as practice for the lives ahead. Nearby, a lioness gently cleans the dust from her cub's coat, her watchful eyes softened by quiet care. Close by, two adult lions brush against one another, manes and bodies touching in a subtle display of trust. This contact is not merely affection. It reinforces the bonds that hold the pride together in a landscape defined by constant risk. In these rare moments of stillness, the Savannah's most formidable hunters appear less like fearsome predators and more like a family. Here, true strength is revealed not only through power and precision, but through cooperation, loyalty, and shared purpose. It is this unity, this enduring connection that has allowed lions to remain among the most dominant and awe-inspiring predators the natural world has ever known. Within the Mara River, danger is never confined to a single predator. Beyond the hidden presence of crocodiles, another colossal force commands these waters, the hippopotamus, often regarded as the quiet ruler of Africa's rivers. From the dark, swirling current, an enormous form slowly surfaced. In the dimming light, red-tinged eyes fixed on a pride of lions approaching the river's edge. Lions dominate the open plains. Hippos control the waterway. Two realms, governed by different powers, collide at a narrow boundary where survival is constantly tested. Without warning, the standoff erupted into violence. The encounter was sudden, intense, and short-lived, ending without a decisive outcome. Yet along this volatile stretch of river, One truth is widely understood: armed with crushing jaws and an unpredictable temperament, hippos remain the uncontested guardians of the Mara. Reaching nearly 4 meters in length and supported by a massive, barrel-shaped body wrapped in skin several centimeters thick, hippos may appear slow-moving, but their strength is extraordinary. Their jaws can gape to almost 180 degrees, revealing tusks up to half a meter long. A single bite can deliver a force exceeding that of a lion, easily capable of breaking bone. Despite their size, hippos can charge across land at speeds approaching 30 kilometers per hour and remain underwater for several minutes, reinforcing their dominance both on land and in water. Unlike apex predators, hippos do not hunt. They are grazers, leaving the river under cover of darkness to consume up to 40 kilograms of grass each night. Yet their highly aggressive behavior and strong territorial instincts make them among the most dangerous animals in Africa. Any intruder, whether crocodile or lion, that strays too close risks a violent confrontation. During the breeding season, females carry their young for around 8 months and usually give birth in shallow water. Newborn calves, weighing close to 40 kilograms, are able to swim immediately and often nurse beneath the surface. From their first moments, they are protected within the close-knit structure of the herd, which can include dozens of individuals. Most disputes between hippos end when one challenger retreats, allowing these giants to maintain order within their domain. Powerful and heavily built, adult hippos face few natural threats. Even so, they are not entirely beyond danger. On rare occasions, large crocodiles or bold lions may attempt an attack, usually targeting the young. It is in these vulnerable calves that the illusion of absolute dominance reveals its most fragile point. One such calf had just entered the river behind its mother, still inexperienced and unaware of the hazards that lie ahead, when a vast shadow surged upward from the depths. water erupted into turmoil and the story was far from over. From the depths of the river, the mother hippo surged forward in an explosive display of force, transforming the Mara into a scene of chaos. She charged directly at the crocodile. Moments later, the reptile's motionless form was carried away by the muddy current. Raising her massive head, her eyes burned crimson in the fading light, a powerful symbol of the strength and instinctive bond of motherhood along the Mara. In this dangerous river, survival is shaped not only by physical power, but by the fierce determination to protect. It is this instinct that allows a seemingly peaceful grass-eating giant to defy the expectations of the wild. On this day, raw maternal force overcame a seasoned predator. As the sun slipped below the Serengeti horizon, the river reflected deep shades of red, echoing the constant balance between life and loss. Here, existence is bound by an unbreakable rule: one life ends so another may continue, and the cycle of nature moves forward without pause. If this journey through the untamed heart of the Mara River has moved you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. To hunt or to be hunted, this is the uncompromising rule that governs life in Botswana. Located in the heart of southern Africa, Botswana spreads across the land like a hidden jewel set within an immense desert. It is a place where ancient rhythms still shape everyday life, where nature remains raw, powerful, and largely untouched by time. Here, survival unfolds moment by moment. Every ecosystem is a world unto itself, rich with life yet shaped by constant struggle. Across the sunlit plains, a low, powerfully built figure moves with calm precision. Its coat is a mosaic of black, gold, and white, as if painted by chance. Large, rounded ears stand alert, scanning the air. This is the African wild dog, among the most efficient and persistent hunters on the continent. Their appearance is unmistakable, slender bodies designed for endurance, long legs built for distance, white-tipped tails used as visual signals, and oversized ears that capture the faintest sounds while helping release heat beneath the relentless sun. Wild dogs target prey that can truly test them, animals that are swift and agile, yet manageable in size. For these hunters, the impala is a perfect match. Its speed and sharp reflexes ensure that every pursuit becomes a contest of stamina, coordination, and intelligence. Today, the pack senses opportunity. A subtle sound carried on the breeze draws their attention. One by one, their focus shifts toward a distant point on the glowing horizon. There, a group of impalas grazes calmly on fresh grass. Their sleek forms shimmer with reddish-brown coats, pale underbellies smooth against the light. Dark markings curve gracefully along their flanks, while the dominant males stand tall, bearing crescent-shaped horns that arc nearly a meter in length, symbols of strength and defense. The impalas feed in steady rhythm, ears flicking, eyes watchful, yet unaware of the danger slowly approaching. Across the open land, the wild dog pack advances its oak. Their movement is effortless, their steps nearly soundless. Patterns of fur dissolve into grass and sunlight. No command is spoken. Each hunter holds position, breathing controlled, eyes fixed, an unseen net tightening around the herd. Then, with a glance from the lead dog, everything changes. The stillness shatters. The pack surges forward in perfect coordination. Within minutes, the chase is over. On the plains of Botswana, another chapter in the story of survival comes to a close, swift, unforgiving, and inevitable. And elsewhere on the Savannah, high above the open plains, a group of vervet monkeys races through the crowns of towering acacia trees. Their pale gray fur glints in the sunlight, while dark faces bordered by bright white markings frame alert, watchful eyes. Though they are not a favored target for wild dogs, constant awareness is essential. In Botswana, even the smallest lapse in attention can be costly. When the wild dogs finish feeding, the pack gradually leaves the site behind. Their tracks remain etched into the dry ground, signaling the start of a new phase in their lives. The breeding season has begun. During this time, rival males compete intensely for mating rights, engaging in brief but forceful clashes that ripple across the plains. Only the strongest emerges with the opportunity to reproduce. After mating, the dominant female carries the next generation. Roughly 70 days later, she gives birth to tiny pups, their eyes opening for the first time. The responsibility of raising them is shared by the entire pack. Adults rotate duties guarding the den, providing food, and gradually introducing the young to the skills of the hunt. Even at this early stage, danger is ever present, and survival remains uncertain. As the pups grow, they begin to follow the adults, learning through observation how to trail prey, coordinate a chase, and work together as hunters. With each passing week, their confidence builds. Soon, the pack prepares to move once again across the open grasslands. Under the relentless sun, the wild dogs advance through tall, yellowed grass, each measured step stirring the scent of warm earth. but their progress is suddenly interrupted. Ahead stands a small yet remarkably bold adversary. From a safe distance, the pups watch closely as the adults assess the situation. Approaching from the opposite direction is a compact but imposing figure, the honey badger. With a slow, deliberate stride and unmistakable confidence, it moves forward alone. Known for its fearless nature, this solitary animal is notorious for challenging opponents many times its size. Caution is not part of its nature. As the heat shimmers above the plains, the wild dog pack spreads out, gradually narrowing the space between them and the intruder. Their focus never wavers. Teeth flash in the sunlight, powerful enough to deliver a crippling bite as tension builds, and the encounter edges toward its next decisive moment. At first glance, the honey badger seems vulnerable. The tension thickens. Without warning, the wild dog pack surges forward. For several charged minutes, they attempt to overpower the thick-skinned opponent, but their efforts prove futile. The encounter ends unexpectedly. One by one, the dogs disengage and fade back into the plains. In Botswana's harsh wilderness, even the smallest animal can challenge the confidence of elite predators. Unshaken, the honey badger strides away with unmistakable composure, vanishing into the brush as though no challenge had ever occurred. Despite its modest size, it carries the resolve of a seasoned fighter. Its compact build, coarse two-toned fur, and hide measuring several millimeters thick provide impressive protection against bites and even venom. Typically solitary or traveling in pairs, honey badgers roam tirelessly across Botswana's grasslands and wetlands. They breed throughout the year, often without the intense rivalry seen in many other species. After a gestation period of roughly 6 to 8 weeks, the female gives birth to 1 or 2 cubs. Survival is a constant test. Their diet is remarkably varied, Ranging from insects and small mammals to highly venomous snakes, prey few animals dare to confront. Following the tense standoff with the wild dogs, hunger soon draws the honey badger back into the open. What begins as a routine search for food is suddenly interrupted. Ahead, a sleek silhouette moves closer, a leopard, its golden coat patterned with dark rosettes. Built for stealth and explosive speed, this predator is famous for closing in without sound before striking with devastating precision. The atmosphere tightens. A low growl breaks the silence. Yet the honey badger stands firm, holding the same defiant posture it displayed earlier, as though its recent triumph has only reinforced its resolve. The leopard lowers its body, gliding forward with fluid, effortless steps. The honey badger continues its deliberate advance, eyes locked on the newcomer, unwavering and unafraid. Then in a flash, the leopard launches its attack. For a brief moment, victory seems within reach, but the situation shifts. Calculating the risk, the leopard chooses caution and withdraws from the encounter. Only as the predator melts back into the tall grass does the tension dissolve. Once again, on the unforgiving Savannah, the small yet indomitable honey badger stands its ground, a quiet reminder that survival is not measured by size alone. As the seasons change, the grasslands shift in color and rhythm, announcing the arrival of the leopard's breeding season. During this period, males become highly competitive, engaging in intense confrontations as they defend territory and demonstrate speed, balance, and strength in an effort to attract a receptive female. For females, mating signals the beginning of a far more demanding phase. Once a partner is chosen, a pregnancy of around 3.5 months follows. When the time arrives, she gives birth to a small number of cubs, entering a solitary and vulnerable chapter of motherhood in a landscape filled with constant danger. As the weeks turn into months, the cubs begin their lives hidden from the world. From this moment on, their mother hunts not just to survive, but to sustain her growing family. The persistent hunger of her young pushes her to take greater risks and target larger prey. Leopards are expert solitary hunters, depending on stealth, precision, and explosive bursts of speed. Yet against the combined strength of a coordinated group, isolation can quickly become a disadvantage. One humid day on the plains of Botswana, fate shifts. A familiar scent drifts through the air, unmistakable and urgent. The presence of a pack, the promise of nourishment. Nearby, a group of African wild dogs rests briefly, recovering from earlier encounters and hunts. Fatigue dulls their awareness. None detect the dark form slipping silently through the vegetation, each step carefully placed, every movement concealed. The leopard halts, muscles tense, golden eyes fixed on her chosen target. A young pup strays slightly from the group, unaware of the danger closing in. In an instant, the leopard launches her attack fast, quiet, and precise. But the moment the pack senses loss, the response is immediate. The wild dogs surge forward together, their unity transforming shock into fierce resistance. The encounter is short and intense. Outnumbered and exposed, the leopard is forced to abandon the attempt, retreating before the situation turns fatal. Sharp alarm calls echo across the plains as the predator vanishes into the distance. In Botswana's unforgiving wilderness, strength alone does not ensure success. The leopard withdraws without a reward, while the wild dogs, though scarred by loss, succeed in defending their young. Here, survival is never free. Every life is balanced by sacrifice, and the cycle continues. Our journey across the perilous waters of the Mara River and through the vast plains of Botswana has revealed a world where wildlife exists on a constant edge. In these raw and untamed landscapes, every movement, every decision, and every crossing can determine whether life continues for another day or quietly fades under the timeless rules of nature. Along the Mara, the river stands as a ruthless dividing line, where bravery often comes at a heavy price. Beneath its dark currents, unseen dangers wait in silence. Reminding us that in the wild, survival is always earned. In Botswana, open grasslands and wetlands form a vast stage of strategy and endurance, a place of pursuit and evasion, where instinct and resilience shape every encounter between hunter and hunted. Here, nothing is certain. Survival is not granted, but won through awareness, strength, intelligence, and an unwavering drive to endure. Yet beyond the intensity of these struggles lies a greater truth. Even in its harshest moments, life remains extraordinary, fragile, resilient, and worth protecting. Safeguarding these ecosystems and the creatures within them ensures that this remarkable cycle of challenge, adaptation, and natural beauty can continue long into the future. If this journey into the heart of Africa has inspired you, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you can continue exploring with us the world's wildest places, untold stories, and the hidden wonders of the animal kingdom. The land splits into long fractures that cut across the plain like ancient scars. A heavy veil of dust drifts close to the ground, stretching toward the horizon. Above, thin clouds scatter, allowing sunlight to pour through and strike the hardened surface below. There is no flowing river here, yet the earth begins to tremble. Across the cracked crust, thousands of hooves strike in unison. With every step, dust erupts and spreads outward. The first animals move forward, and behind them the surge continues. Grasses bend in the direction of travel, carving a pathway that seems to have no end. The entire savanna moves to a single rhythm. From the open plains of the Serengeti to the gentle lowlands of the Masai Mara, the ground is no longer still. Herds of every size advance with the wind, guided by distant signs of rain. Each journey is part of a greater cycle, where survival depends on a migration timed with remarkable precision. Nothing in this ecosystem remains unchanged. It shifts with the seasons, with water, with the growth of grass, and with the passage of each herd. Every species plays a defined role, and every behavior helps sustain the pulse that keeps the plains alive. When one species begins to move, another immediately adjusts its course. As grass is grazed down to the soil, waste returns vital nutrients to the ground. When prey falls, decomposers are already in place. Together, the Serengeti Masai Mara region functions as one of East Africa's central biological engines. Energy is generated the moment hooves strike the earth and is carried onward through every mouthful of grass, every chase, and every fallen body. Nothing in this system exists without purpose. Each element matters only when it flows with the natural rhythm. Across these untamed grasslands, the Great Migration draws all forms of life into a powerful predatory cycle that never truly pauses. Fresh shoots blanket the land after recent rains, their narrow leaves bent in unison by the wind. On the open plains, newborn calves stumble away from the birthing grounds and merge into the moving mass of adults, advancing without hesitation. do not wait for strength to build. Motion begins at once. As the rainy season reaches the southern edge of the Serengeti, wildebeest herds leave their calving areas. The first groups cross the damp earth, trampling young growth and etching their path across the plain. The movement does not break. Smaller groups merge into larger bodies as herds from different directions converge along shared corridors. Routes may shift, but the overall direction remains unchanged. The pace is steady and relentless. Under thousands of hooves, the ground yields. Forming deep impressions, grass is pressed flat. Droppings fall in an unbroken pattern. The air grows heavy with the scent of bodies, waste, and churned soil. Every footprint marks the passage of a living current sweeping across the savannah. New life quickly appears in its wake. Dung beetles burrow beneath fresh mounds. Low-flying birds follow closely, and weaker wildebeest begin to lag behind. Their presence draws scavengers and predators waiting along the edges. The migration cuts through the grasslands, opening pathways that other species soon follow. Tall grasses vanish, old roots are broken, and the soil is loosened by hooves and organic matter. Each area they cross becomes a zone of biological renewal after the dry season. Every wildebeest plays a direct role while alive. They deposit nutrients and chemical traces. In death, their bodies become centers of decomposition. Birds, insects, and microbes arrive in layers. There is no need to search. Food is already available for scavengers. There is no delay. Beetles immediately begin their work. There is no isolation. Predators simply watch and wait for those that slip behind the flow. All life benefits from this concentrated movement. Wildebeest do not create the ecosystem, but they set it in motion. Microbial communities in the soil awaken as organic matter surges through the system. Other species begin their own journeys as the wild pulse passes. This ecosystem does not operate by chance. It responds precisely to the signals released by the migration. As the wildebeest press forward, the grazing zones along their migratory corridor are reshaped in real time. Life concentrates along their path, and every place they touch becomes a link between multiple biological layers. No single species clears the way alone. No cycle begins without a trigger. Reproduction follows the rhythm of the rains while the soil still holds moisture. New life is born. The moment the calves are able to stand, the herd moves on again. This tight synchronization offers protection from immediate predators, but it also sends powerful signals through the entire system. The landscape left behind changes rapidly. Grass sprouts where it was once trampled. Bacteria break down organic remains, and moisture is retained near the surface thanks to the fresh input of nutrients. For a time, each area crossed by the herd becomes a center of biological renewal. Other grazers arrive later, taking advantage of what remains. Older vegetation has already been consumed, allowing shorter, younger grasses to flourish. There is no direct competition. Many species rely on the wildebeest's passage as a natural process of clearing and renewal. The soil stays loose, roots spread more easily, and conditions align for the next cycle. The moving mass of wildebeest also reshapes the strategies of predators. Hunters must adjust their breeding seasons, ambush tactics, and territories according to the herd's pace and direction. Scavenging birds track the places where carcasses appear. Vultures, crows, and wild dogs gather around zones marked by decay. The ecosystem keeps time like a living structure. Rain may set the stage, but the wildebeest herd is the first mechanism to turn. single animal chooses the route, yet together they generate enough momentum to drive the entire system. On the living map of the region, the wildebeest migration acts like a heartbeat. Each year, that pulse returns. From the southern calving grounds to the northern grasslands, every stretch of land responds in a predictable sequence. Other species do not exist because of the wildebeest alone, but the functioning of the system begins with their passage. Nothing in the herd's behavior happens in isolation. Every hoof that strikes the ground sets change in motion. The land shifts, vegetation is redistributed, and new life emerges. This is why wildebeest signal the beginning of the life cycle in East Africa, not because they are the strongest or the fastest, but because their first step sets the entire ecosystem in motion. Each year, when the first rains return and soften the land, a single hoof meets the ground once more. From that moment of contact, the cycle of life begins again. Short grasses spread across the damp soil at dawn. The air is still. At the edge of a shallow hollow, a pride of lions lies pressed low, concealed among scattered shrubs. Early light washes over their backs, blending with earth darkened by heat. In the distance, a wildebeest herd advances. The groups stretch into loose lines, shifting direction as they follow the low ground. Gaps begin to open between individuals. Young calves drift toward the edges, and the lions hold their ground, using the contours of the land, moving in wide, deliberate arcs. Each hunter keeps a precise distance. Angles of approach tighten from multiple sides. There is no warning, no prolonged chase. As the herd crosses the depression, the moment unfolds. One animal becomes separated. Its escape route narrows. An open patch of ground becomes the point where motion ends. The prey falls, and the grass is pressed flat beneath it. The lions spread out around the body. One secures the kill, while the others melt back into cover. The landscape settles into silence. Wind moves on. There is no struggle, no further disturbance. Hoofprints remain etched into the loosened soil. The scent of blood begins to drift close to the ground. This hunt is driven by precision, not speed. Lions do not rely on long chases. They succeed through positioning, spacing, and a deep understanding of herd movement. Each individual plays a role. When the distance closes, force is applied together. Often, prey is taken in moments of imbalance, too far from protection and too close to avoid the closing circle. The outcome is shaped by natural behavior, not by chance or error. Once selected, the prey cannot recover its position. High above, scavenging birds sense the warmth of the body and begin to circle at altitude. On the ground, beetles detect the organic scent released into the air. Decomposers arrive even before the lions leave the site. Within hours, the soil around the carcass darkens, the fluids seep into the base of the grasses. Roots draw in the nutrients. Soil bacteria cling to what remains. New shoots begin to rise, guided by heat, moisture, and nitrogen. By afternoon, the pride rests beneath low trees stretched along the brush. Around them, the grass stands still once more. No major movement follows. The marks of their paws extend across the softened paths and fade at the edge of the plain. The morning hunt leaves no sound behind, but the land retains its evidence-absorbed fluids, embedded bones, and microbial changes already underway. Short grass spreads evenly across the open landscape, carrying forward the quiet imprint of what has passed. The ground is dry and fragile. Beneath low shrubs pressed close to the earth, a leopard moves without sound through narrow gaps. Its body stays flattened against the soil, detached from any motion above. The wind shifts again and again, pushing patches of grass in different directions. Nothing breaks the boundary of dust and shadow. The distance closes steadily, without disturbing the scene. Ahead, a group of Thompson's gazelles feeds, spaced in loose, even lines. Younger animals linger toward the outer edges, drifting with the breeze. Between hunter and herd, there is no cover, only open, arid ground. The leopard maintains a measured pace, making no sudden adjustments and never rushing the moment. At a workable range, it pauses beside a small rise. Its body folds into the edge of shade. The landscape holds its breath. When a leopard hunts on open plains, conditions must align gentle undulations in the land, evenly scattered shrubs, and prey that remains spread out rather than tightly grouped. Hunting alone leaves no margin for recovery once detected. A single misstep sharply reduces the chance of success. There is no partner to disrupt the herd, no coordinated retreat. Every phase depends on closing the gap with absolute precision. If that limit is crossed, the prey reacts and control is lost. The leopard is not built for endurance across open ground. Its strength lies in short bursts of speed. Each chase unfolds over a brief distance. If the line breaks or the gazelle responds instantly, The attempt fails, and failure is more common than success. Not due to a lack of skill, but because the leopard's hunting space is shaped by countless variables: wind direction, sun angle, grass height, and prey distribution. Even so, its presence alone alters gazelle behavior. Small herds rarely remain spread out in exposed areas. Youngsters draw closer to their mothers. Feeding pauses. Groups quicken their pace when crossing zones with limited visibility. A successful kill is not required to leave an effect. The mere appearance of a leopard reshapes herd formation and rest patterns. Grazing cycles shift, reducing pressure on a single spot and spreading vegetation used more evenly across the region. Leopards do not challenge lions or hyenas through open conflict. Their solitary approach adds a second layer of influence. They avoid direct competition, yet they shape how prey occupies the landscape. No herd stays concentrated for long. No herbivore holds prolonged control over the plains. This irregular presence forces prey to disperse in search of lower risk. No group maintains the same structure long enough to damage grass growth. No area is stripped bare. The pressure is subtle but constant. A baseline level of alertness persists, even without active hunts. The leopard favors isolation and leaves little trace. It draws no gatherings of scavengers. Small prey is consumed quickly, leaving minimal remains and little scent to attract larger species. By selecting smaller animals, the leopard limits interference and avoids attention. Its role rarely sparks conflict within the predator network. As evening approaches, it withdraws quietly from the edge of the plain. Across the Grumeti Plains, the ground bears fine cracks left by a brief dry spell. Fresh grass has emerged, though it has not yet grown dense. Moving through the open landscape, a herd of zebras advances in a broad, organized line. Their passage raises little dust. The great wildebeest herds are still distant, not yet reaching this transitional zone. Striped bodies glide across the plain, trimming the grass as they head east and northeast. Shadows stretch over the pale soil. Larger individuals hold a steady pace, while smaller groups remain along the edges. The leading position shifts constantly. Their route is traced as a lighter band across the land. Grass bends and flattens into a gentle arc. Zebras typically travel ahead of the main migratory waves. They enter areas still untouched by hooves, following paths of their own. No collective signal is required. As soon as rainfall is sufficient to lift the grass slightly, the herd begins to move. Their journey remains local, yet it consistently precedes the peak of migration. This timing introduces a different rhythm into the system. Zebras do not wait for grass to reach its most tender stage. They arrive early, feeding on the upper portions of the stems and leaving the lower layers undisturbed. When other grazers follow later, the grass has already been trimmed closer to the ground, better suited to their feeding styles. As the herd crosses the region, it leaves a clear grazing line shaped by the direction of the wind. Vegetation is cut evenly. Low shrubs lose much of their cover, allowing more sunlight to reach the soil. The landscape becomes brighter and more open. Understory plants begin to reorganize in response to the new structure. Throughout their movement, zebras do not maintain rigid formations. They travel in spaced groups, widening the grazing corridor. At shallow water sources, the herd breaks into smaller units, each using different patches of vegetation depending on the terrain. This division creates a layered effect. Every cleared section becomes accessible to other life forms. From insects and ground birds to small herbivores, no single area remains crowded for long. The remaining biological layers are reshaped evenly across the plain. Zebras do not graze down to the roots. They affect only the upper growth, preserving the base. This residual layer becomes ideal for low-grazing species such as gazelles, warthogs, and smaller trailing groups of wildebeest. By moving first, zebras slow the intensity of impact caused by the larger herds that arrive later. Their breeding is not concentrated in one mass, allowing them to split freely into smaller groups. These units move independently without disrupting the broader migratory cycle. Each advances at its own pace, giving grasslands time to recover. No area becomes a lasting bottleneck within the system. When predators draw near, zebras do not respond by tightening into a dense mass. Instead, they fan out across open ground, breaking formation rather than compressing it. This behavior disrupts hunting strategies that rely on confusion within tight groups. By spreading apart, the pressure of pursuit is diluted, increasing escape opportunities for other species sharing the landscape. The tracks zebras leave behind are shallow yet continuous. Their droppings fall widely spaced instead of accumulating in heavy clusters. This even distribution enriches the soil surface, helping the grass retain moisture at its base. From these scattered nutrients, soil bacteria begin to expand. Dung beetles soon arrive, drawn by scent, turning and loosening the earth so new roots can take hold. From an ecological standpoint, zebras create a horizontal flow of biological movement. Their impact lacks the vertical force of wildebeest hooves or the concentrated pressure exerted by buffalo. But this steady passage reduces direct stress on the land. the ground absorbs a lighter, prolonged influence that is spread evenly across the plains. Predators adjust their routines to follow zebra movements, increasing the chances of successful ambushes. Lions, hyenas, and wild dogs position themselves in areas not yet reshaped by massive herds. Before the main migration arrives, regions such as grumeti function as independent hunting grounds. As a result, predation pressure is distributed more evenly over time. Zebras do not impose an intense biological load, but they help disperse its effects. The system absorbs this energy at multiple points. The soil is not disturbed for extended periods. Roots retain part of their protective layer, and recovery cycles resume more quickly after each change. During transitional seasons, if only the Great Migration crossed these plains, the land would bear the full force in a very short window. The soil would not have time to recover. Microorganisms would also struggle to multiply fast enough. Grass would be torn out by the roots rather than simply trimmed. Without zebra herds, the migratory corridor would lose its first layer of distribution. Predator activity would become compressed into fewer moments, and restoration cycles would lack a buffer. The grassland would shift in color more rapidly, exposing roots too early. The ecosystem would lose its characteristic resilience, becoming a narrow and fragile passage across open terrain. Zebras leave no dramatic aftermath, yet each passing group clears the surface, opens sight lines, and allows wind to move freely for a brief time. Every quiet wave of migration strengthens the system. It is this staggered, subtle rhythm that prevents the entire migratory movement from collapsing into a single, overwhelming surge. Across the open grassland, a narrow path cuts through the plain. Dust lifts lightly along a zigzag line, while the wind slips through mid-height grasses, carrying traces of movement that have not yet faded. Thompson's gazelles appear in small, scattered clusters, each animal keeping a carefully measured distance, guided by finely tuned instinct. On bare ground, there are no obstacles and no tall cover. Every movement is swift, marked by sudden turns that shorten the time spent within a predator's line of sight. When danger emerges on the horizon, the gazelles spring away on diagonal paths. Their escape routes curve unpredictably, forming a web of motion that is nearly impossible to read. Within moments, the group's structure loosens under outward pressure, then reforms once the threat passes. Calving takes place in isolated spots across the dry plain. The gazelles do not gather, nor do they remain in one place. Each female selects her own patch of short grass and moves at her own pace. As soon as the young can stand, the group shifts again, leaving no clear traces and no prolonged pauses. This scattered strategy prevents gazelles from becoming easy targets. Lions, hyenas, and leopards usually succeed only when an individual strays too far from the group's flow. Most maintain a steady rhythm, avoiding major breaks in formation. Speed aids their escape, but it is their unpredictable direction that most often disrupts an ambush. In such an exposed landscape, there is no true shelter. Gazelles turn openness itself into a defense. The clearer the space, the lower the risk. During the peak of the dry season, they make up much of the remaining biomass, while larger herds like wildebeest and zebras have already moved on. Gazelles continue to travel steadily across the plains. They graze close to the ground, feeding on shoots that have not been trampled. Their constant motion prevents the grass from losing its color entirely. Each passage attracts small scavengers, field insects, and ground-dwelling birds. Their hooves leave shallow impressions that hold moisture just long enough for new growth to emerge. Areas crossed by gazelles often recover faster than untouched ground. Their ability to leave sensitive spots and return from different directions sustains a continuous rhythm of life. No species can survive by remaining fixed in one pattern here. Persistence depends on movement without permanent roots. Gazelle groups connect scattered pockets of life into a lasting biological flow. They serve as a buffer between top predators and lower levels of the food web. Without triggering population surges, they help maintain surface stability. When gazelles vanish from a region, the middle layer of prey collapses, forcing predators to shift abruptly and disrupting the natural order. The ecosystem loses its balancing force. Within the vast movement of the Serengeti Mara, gazelles act like a seam between ecological layers, thin yet vital. Each time they skim the ground in flight, they leave a subtle imprint. From that imprint, the rhythm of life holds its balance. After a night of rain, the ground remains damp, and a low mist still clings to the grass. From a shallow hollow at the edge of the plain rises a sour scent, the unmistakable sign of old flesh. Lying on its side is a carcass, the hide torn open in a long, ragged seam. Spotted hyenas approach from different points on the horizon. Within the group, order is precise. Each animal takes a position around the body without chaos or struggle. Powerful jaws tear effortlessly through tissue, stripping away large sections of meat and exposing bare bone. Slowly, the carcass is reduced and scattered by wind and movement. As the main structure collapses, younger hyenas move in from the edges. Their teeth are not searching for soft flesh. They lock into joints, separate limbs, and remove the final fragments clinging to bone. Only dry soil adheres to the exposed marrow. Everything else is broken down into small, disappearing pieces. Hyenas operate as a highly organized unit. Dominant individuals choose moments to hunt when conditions favor them. It is not an ending for predators or prey, but for the entire cycle that begins again where flesh breaks down. No presence interrupts and regulates the system as effectively as the hyena. They enter hunting grounds, tear flesh from powerful animals, and consume what remains. When they leave, the land is clean. No odor, no residue, no biological risk. On the living map of the Savannah, where every creature leaves behind waste, only the hyena turns those remnants into a starting point. No other animal consumes what is left at the very end. When all have moved on, only dust remains, and the distant echo of the hyena, marking clearly that the cycle is complete and the ground is ready to begin again. Across the vast African plains, the great migrations reveal survival in its purest form. Every crossing, every shift in direction, every split-second choice can determine who endures and who falls behind. Danger is ever-present unseen predators, deceptive rivers, and a harsh landscape that tests even the strongest bodies and instincts. Yet despite these risks, millions of animals press forward, driven by an ancient impulse to endure, adapt, and keep moving. In this endless journey, unity becomes strength, resolve becomes protection, and survival stands as the sole objective. With this, we conclude our exploration of one of the most powerful and extraordinary spectacles in the natural world. Across the vast and untamed plains of Africa, life pulses with unmatched intensity. Here, Every breath is earned through struggle, a constant test against hunger, drought, and silent predators waiting for the right moment. Nothing is guaranteed in a land where nature rules without compromise. In this unforgiving world, balance is preserved by an ancient and unyielding law. Some must fall so that countless others can move forward. It is a natural cycle that may appear harsh, yet it sustains life in its most authentic form. Predators sharpen their instincts, prey refine their speed and awareness, and the smallest creatures survive through unexpected ingenuity. Each sunrise signals the beginning of new trials. In a single day, a frantic chase may unfold, a deadly confrontation may occur, or survival may be secured through sheer perseverance. And still, within this raw struggle, Africa reveals a rare beauty, one that exists only where life clings fiercely to every moment. Millions of years ago, Mount Lengai scattered a unique ash across the land, rich in calcium and phosphorus. That volcanic gift transformed the soil, giving rise to grasses of exceptional nutritional value among the most fertile on Earth. For this reason, wildebeest do not follow rainfall alone. They are also guided by an ancient geological memory. The mineral ash continues to nourish vast plains, spreading like a living mantle over ancient basalt rock. Within the endless cycle of life, the wildebeest migration is more than a journey for survival. It is a powerful expression of the planet's natural rhythm. An immense herd, estimated at nearly 1.5 million animals, remains in constant motion. Each year, they complete a circuit of roughly 200 miles across the Serengeti Mara ecosystem, an area spanning over 11,600 square miles. Half of this passage unfolds across Tanzania's Serengeti Plains, while the remainder stretches into Kenya's Masai Mara National Reserve. Nothing along this route is left to chance. Every shift follows an order shaped by survival instinct. The goals are clear: locate fresh grazing, secure reliable water, and reach safe grounds for calving, the three pillars that sustain life in the African savanna. When when rainfall transforms a region and new green growth emerges, the herd moves without hesitation. Old ranges are left behind not from neglect, but because life demands forward motion. The great river crossings, where hundreds of thousands confront the jaws of Nile crocodiles, create scenes that are both harrowing and awe-inspiring. Each migration season, an estimated 35,000 pounds of animal remains enter the rivers. Yet this loss becomes nourishment for the aquatic world. Phosphorus levels rise by more than 450%. Carbon nearly doubles, and nitrogen increases by 78%. In this way, nutrients are rapidly recycled, enriching riverbeds and sustaining countless forms of life. Every hoofbeat does more than ensure the survival of the herd. It feeds the land itself. In their endless movement, wildebeest carry the deep heartbeat of East Africa, binding geology, grass, water, and life into a single enduring rhythm. The sun is only beginning to rise over the Nudu Plains. A thin veil of mist still clings to the ground as the cool morning air settles across the landscape. In the hush of dawn, a coalition of lionesses moves carefully toward their target. They have tracked the wildebeest herd since nightfall, and now the timing is perfect. One young animal starts to lag behind, and the hunters know the window of opportunity will be brief. Two lionesses glide silently along the flanks, positioning themselves to steer the herd toward a vulnerable zone. At the same time, another waits ahead, concealed in the grass, prepared to block the escape at the critical moment. The wildebeest sense the threat hooves strike the soil. Bodies leap in alarm, and order dissolves into chaos. The herd surges toward open ground. In an instant, the hidden lioness bursts from the grass. power and precision combine as she accelerates to nearly 60 kilometers per hour. Her claws lock into the prey's side, and a decisive grip to the throat cuts off both airflow and circulation. Within moments, the chase is over. The remaining wildebeest scatter across the plain, leaving the fallen animal behind. Among lions, males with darker, fuller manes typically carry higher testosterone levels, signaling strength, dominance, and defensive capability. Mane color and density are closely linked to reproductive fitness and social rank. The cubs, meanwhile, are not limited to a single mother. They may nurse from any lactating female within the pride, even if she is not their biological parent. This shared care greatly improves cub survival and strengthens the social bonds that hold the pride together. Spotted hyenas are equally attuned to the brief season when wildebeest calves are born almost simultaneously. Hyenas are equally attuned to the brief season when wildebeest calves are born almost simultaneously. Their image as mere scavengers tells only part of the story. They are highly effective predators, capable of bringing down adult wildebeest, zebras, and even young hippos. In fact, an estimated 60 to 95% of their diet comes from animals they hunt themselves. One hyena singles out a newborn wildebeest and weaves through the moving mass of the herd, closing in on the calf. A powerful bite lands on the hip, but the mother reacts instantly. Head lowered and horns aimed forward. She charges the attacker while steering her calf back toward the protective ring of the herd. The Ngorongoro crater is more than an ideal landscape for ambush. It also serves as a natural stronghold for hyena societies. Within an area of less than 15 square miles, densities can reach nearly 470 individuals, among the highest concentrations ever recorded. Far beyond the crater, across the open plains of the Serengeti, another relentless hunt unfolds. spotted hyenas operate with striking coordination, moving with the discipline of a trained unit. Small teams of 3 to 5 break away from the clan, spreading out into carefully spaced positions. Their success relies less on bursts of speed and more on extraordinary endurance. A chase may last from 1 to 3 miles. This is not a sudden strike, but a sustained test of stamina. Hyenas do not need to outrun their prey only to outlast it. When exhaustion takes hold, the first decisive bites seal the outcome. With jaws capable of exerting over 1,000 pounds of pressure, even a spine can be crushed. Unlike many predators, hyenas leave almost nothing behind. Bones, hooves, cartilage, and even teeth are broken down and consumed. Ecologically, they rank among nature's most efficient recyclers. By eliminating remains entirely, they reduce disease risks, return nutrients to the soil, and help maintain the balance of the savanna ecosystem. The plain zebra carries a coat marked by a pattern found nowhere else in nature. No two individuals share the same arrangement of stripes. This uniqueness not only helps researchers identify them, but also allows zebras to recognize one another within herds numbering in the thousands. Amid the apparent chaos of the savanna, these stripes act like a personal signature. Why zebras evolved such markings has intrigued scientists for decades. When they cluster together, the stripes visually overlap, creating a shifting illusion that makes it difficult for predators like lions to single out a target. Recent studies also suggest that the polarized light reflected by the stripes disrupts the navigation of horseflies and biting flies, lowering the chance of insect attacks. Beneath the bold black and white contrasts is an animal built for endurance. A plain zebra can reach speeds of nearly 64 kilometers per hour. During the Great Migration, their role is far more than that of followers. They move ahead of the herds, feeding on coarse, dry grasses and clearing the way for fresh, nutrient-rich shoots that later sustain millions of wildebeest. Their journey is shared, and their survival is tightly linked. This strategy allows zebras to cross landscapes low in nutrients while quietly shaping the ecosystem itself. Satellite tracking has recorded more than 250,000 zebras taking part in this annual movement. Their hippocampus, the brain region responsible for spatial memory, is especially well developed, enabling them to navigate vast distances with remarkable accuracy. At the center of the Ndutu Plains lies Lake Ndutu, a highly alkaline body of water where pH levels can rise to 10.5. While these conditions are inhospitable to most aquatic species, the lake's high sodium carbonate content creates an ideal setting for microalgae such as spirulina to thrive. These algae form the primary food source for vast flocks of flamingos that arrive with the seasonal rains. During years of heavy rainfall, Lake Ndutu can become a gathering point for hundreds of thousands of lesser flamingos, the smallest of all flamingo species. They are also the most numerous, with an estimated population of over 2.2 million across East Africa. Despite their fragile appearance, these birds are highly resilient, flourishing in extreme environments marked by alkaline waters, heated mud, and intense climatic conditions. Their diet is made up almost entirely of cyanobacteria and diatoms, organisms rich in carotenoids, the pigments responsible for their distinctive pink-orange coloration. Their curved bills contain more than 10,000 fine filtering plates, enabling them to strain water up to 20 times per second. This remarkably efficient feeding system stands as one of nature's most sophisticated biological filtration mechanisms. The puff adder is one of Africa's most well-known venomous snakes and a master of ambush. Its name comes from a distinctive defensive display when threatened. It inflates its body and releases a loud, explosive hiss. Long, hinged fangs drive deep into the flesh of its target, delivering venom that can cause severe tissue damage, blistering, and without medical treatment, even the loss of a limb. According to the World Health Organization, this species is responsible for more human fatalities than any other snake in Africa. Yet even with its potent venom and near-perfect camouflage, the puff adder yields to an unexpected opponent, the secretary bird. Named for its gray plumage and the long feathers at the back of its head that resemble old-fashioned quill pens. This bird breaks the mold of typical raptors. Rather than hunting from the sky, the secretary bird is a specialized ground predator. It is especially famous for its ability to hunt and kill snakes, including highly dangerous species such as cobras and puff adders. Each powerful strike of its long, scaled legs delivers a force several times its own body weight in a fraction of a second. These blows are not only fast, but precisely aimed, most often targeting the head or neck, allowing the bird to neutralize its prey with remarkable efficiency. With every heavy stride that presses deep impressions into the soil, the commanding outline of the African savanna elephant comes into view. Its sheer size and overwhelming strength make it an animal few dare to challenge, so formidable that even Nile crocodiles tend to keep their distance. This species is the largest land mammal on Earth with adult males standing over 4 meters tall and weighing well beyond 15,000 pounds. Its massive ears, shaped much like the African continent itself, fan constantly through the air. Beneath the thick skin lies an intricate network of blood vessels that helps release excess heat, acting as a natural cooling system. The trunk, astonishingly flexible and powerful, contains more than 40,000 muscles and serves countless purposes, from drawing up water to communicating and handling food. As the herd approaches the Grumeti River, their goal is not only to drink, but also to assess the hidden dangers within its murky waters. Adults pause for long moments, scanning the surroundings with careful attention. The calves, fragile and easily startled, are guided into the center as larger individuals form a protective ring around them. Every decision is shaped by the experience and memory of the matriarch, the oldest female in the group. A fully grown elephant must consume roughly 150 kilograms of vegetation and more than 50 gallons of water each day. When grasslands dry out, their curved tusks are used to dig shallow wells, reaching underground water that sustains both the herd and other animals. Those same ivory tusks, symbols of power and grace, also mark a profound tragedy. They are the reason thousands of elephants are killed illegally each year. Yet despite this threat, elephants remain essential to the balance of the Serengeti. They are true architects of the landscape. What they leave behind is far more than waste. Elephant dung is rich in nutrients and scattered with seeds, carried across vast distances. In this way, each passing herd helps new trees take root and supports the long-term renewal of the savannah. After crossing the Grumeti River, the vast wildebeest herd presses on in search of fresh grazing grounds. But ahead lies a predator unlike any other one that has mastered cooperation to an extraordinary degree: the African wild dog. At first glance, they appear almost like living mosaics, their coats marked with irregular patches of black, white, tan, and gold. No two individuals look alike. These distinctive patterns help them blend into the surrounding vegetation. But camouflage alone is not what defines their success. Their long, lean legs are built for endurance. With only 4 toes on each foot and no dew claws, their limbs reduce drag and conserve energy during extended chases. Large rounded ears swivel constantly, acting as highly sensitive receivers that pick up distant sounds across the open plains. When a hunt begins, a small group breaks away to identify a target. They start with a steady trot, forcing the chosen animal to burn energy over time. As the pursuit unfolds, different pack members rotate in and out, maintaining relentless pressure without exhausting any single hunter. The turning point comes when the prey hesitates for just a fraction of a second. In that instant, the entire pack surges forward, reaching speeds of over 60 kilometers per hour. The formation tightens with remarkable precision, each dog moving in sync, guided by instinct and experience shaped over countless generations. According to research from the Wildlife Conservation Society, African wild dogs succeed in roughly 70 to 90% of their hunts, the highest success rate among large carnivores. Their dominance is not built on sheer strength, but on flawless teamwork and unity. The marabou stork, often called the Undertaker bird, earns this name not only from its somber appearance, but from its crucial role as one of nature's most efficient recyclers. Its bare head and neck are a vital adaptation, preventing bacteria and decaying fluids from clinging to feathers when it feeds on carcasses. If these areas were feathered, harmful organic matter could easily accumulate and lead to serious infections. This species ranks among the largest flying birds on land. A marabou stork can stand nearly 1.5 meters tall, with a wingspan that stretches well beyond 3 meters. Despite its imposing size, it remains relatively lightweight thanks to the hollow structure of the bones in its legs and feet. Once airborne, it can soar to altitudes exceeding 4,500 meters, gliding effortlessly for long periods as it scans the landscape for remains. Marabou storks often work alongside vultures as part of the Savannah's cleanup crew. While vultures tear through tough hide with their hooked beaks, the marabou uses its long, heavy, wedge-shaped bill to reach deep into body cavities, accessing tissue left behind. Together, they ensure that little is wasted and that the cycle of renewal continues. A small antelope keeps pace with the immense wildebeest herds as they cross the open plains. To watchful predators, especially cheetahs, it appears to be an inviting target. This is the Thompson's gazelle. In a landscape where survival hinges on speed and awareness, it embodies a balance of elegance and vulnerability that endures within the harsh reality of the savannah. Its true defense is remarkable athleticism, capable of reaching speeds close to 56 miles per hour. The gazelle pairs sheer velocity with sudden, precise changes in direction that force even the fastest hunters to anticipate every move with care. When danger draws near, it launches into stiff vertical leaps, lifting all four legs from the ground at once. This behavior, known as stotting, serves both as a warning to predators and a display of strength to others nearby. The Thompson's gazelle does not set the course of the migration. Instead, it stays along the edges or toward the rear of the moving herds, not out of fear, but strategy. From these positions, it remains less conspicuous, conserves energy, and still takes advantage of the routes cleared by larger animals ahead. Small in stature yet essential, the Thompson's gazelle plays a crucial role in the savannah's fragile ecological balance. Each stride is a reminder that even among giants, the survival of the smallest helps maintain the rhythm and stability of the landscape. The leopard moves through the savannah alone, quiet, cautious, and unseen. It survives not through numbers or dominance, but through concealment and perfect timing. This is a predator built on contrasts, a compact frame carrying remarkable strength, paired with an ability to disappear almost completely. Unlike lions, leopards avoid direct conflict. Their survival depends on remaining unnoticed. The rosette patterns of their coat break up their outline, blending seamlessly with dappled light in the trees or the shadows cast by rocks, making them masters of natural disguise. In near silence, the leopard studies its surroundings, measuring distance and opportunity with patience and precision. One of its most striking abilities is the power to haul prey far heavier than itself into the branches of a tree. This feat reflects not only strength, but refined skill. Its climbing ability, both upward and downward, is enhanced by an unusual anatomical adaptation, exceptionally flexible ankles. Unlike most cats, a leopard can rotate its rear ankles almost 180 degrees. This allows it to grip tree trunks with its hind claws while descending head first, maintaining remarkable balance and control. With this advantage, trees become both secure escape routes and nearly inaccessible storage sites. Leopards do not share their kills. They drag their prey into the canopy, where they can feed in safety, beyond the reach of scavengers such as hyenas and lions. More than a hunter, the leopard is a tactician, an embodiment of intelligence and adaptability in the African wilderness. Solitary life demands constant awareness. There is no pride to rely on. Every hunt, every meal is earned alone. Females raise their cubs without assistance, hiding them in dense cover or secluded shelters to keep them safe. Even so, survival is never guaranteed. Cubs and adults alike face threats from larger predators. Yet among Africa's big cats, the leopard is the most versatile. It occupies open grasslands, thick forests, and rugged mountain slopes alike. This adaptability explains its wide range, while also forcing it to coexist with more dominant predators, sharpening its skill at avoidance over confrontation. Stealth, quiet strength, and calculated intelligence define the leopard, a hunter both formidable and elusive, unseen until the moment the hunt is complete. Chimpanzees emerge from the dense, rain-soaked greenery, moving deliberately through the forest understory. Their search focuses mainly on ripe fruit and seeds, though at times they coordinate to hunt small primates. The tools they use may appear simple, but their behavior goes far beyond instinct. It is shaped by learned tradition. Each chimpanzee community develops its own set of techniques, passed down across generations. Some groups become adept at cracking nuts with stones, while others specialize in using sticks to extract termites from their mounds. Every troop functions as a living archive of shared knowledge. Sticks probe hidden spaces, stones break open tough shells, and natural cavities along tree trunks or stream banks provide access to food otherwise out of reach. Research published in 2024 shows that chimpanzees do not rely on single tools alone. They plan ahead, carrying and using multiple tools in deliberate sequences to solve complex feeding challenges. Their diet is dominated by ripe fruit, which accounts for more than 60% of their foraging activity. Leaves, seeds, and insects such as ants and termites make up the remainder. During the rainy season, forest productivity surges. Fruit becomes plentiful, movement increases, and chimpanzees form temporary groupings, adjusting their social structure to take full advantage of the seasonal abundance. High above the forest floor, another hunter keeps watch from the bare limb of a tree. This is the martial eagle, an imposing raptor with a wingspan that can approach 2.6 meters, making it the largest bird of prey in Africa. From this vantage point, its exceptional eyesight scans the canopy for young monkeys or large birds moving through the foliage. Once a target is selected, the descent is swift and exact. At this time of year, warm air rising from the land creates powerful updrafts that the martial eagle uses as natural aerial highways. Riding these currents, it can glide for hours across its hunting range with minimal wing beats, conserving energy as it surveys the landscape below. Within the forest ecosystem, this eagle plays a crucial role by regulating populations of smaller birds and insect eaters. It functions as the apex predator of the skies, maintaining balance in much the same way large carnivores do on the ground. Yet, despite its dominance in the air, the species faces growing vulnerability. Since 2020, the International Union for Conservation of Nature has listed the martial eagle as endangered, a reminder that even the most powerful hunters are not immune to the pressures shaping the modern world. As the sun sinks behind the burning African horizon, the battlefield of survival slowly settles. After relentless chases, sudden ambushes, and moments where life and death are separated by a single heartbeat, the land returns to an uneasy stillness. Here, every breath is earned, and survival is never a gift, it is a victory claimed through endurance. In this unforgiving world, some lives are lost so that countless others may continue. It is a harsh yet essential rule, one that has preserved the balance of the wild for thousands of years. The resilient press forward, the vulnerable fade away, and the endless cycle prepares to begin again with the first light of dawn. Between beauty and brutality, this untamed land continues to tell its story, a story shaped by instinct, resilience, and an unbreakable will to endure. Africa remains alive, Not because life is easy here, but because it refuses to surrender.